Good evening, everyone, and welcome, welcome. Let us begin with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we want to give you thanks for this day, and we ask for your continued blessing to be with us, even now in our discussion as we look at infectious diseases that are all around us and what we can do, simple little remedies that can help us to get relieved and overcome the situation. This is our prayer in Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so I hope you have your pen and your paper. You can take notes, but we'd be moving quite quickly. And therefore, you'd be able to review the recorded session. I have a PowerPoint slide that's going to help us to be able to get a view of words and possibly pictures to carry our information through. And that may tend to stick with you a little better. So let's just get straight. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're all set. Welcome to our Adventist Health Professional Association platform. It is the healing platform where we share information on a monthly basis. We are hailing you all the way from Trinidad and Tobago, a group of Adventist health professionals, sharing with you our varied expertise, as well as bringing in other speakers to help us to share the message of health, healing, and salvation. God's intention is that we be in good health, all of his children. When any of your children are sick, are you sick? Yeah, you take sick leave from your workplace, don't you? Yeah, because you have to take care of them. And you have to make sure that they don't get severely worse. So early intervention would be really important. And even if they're there with your home, no matter how old they are, they could even be adults. And I have adult children. They're still yours to take care of. As long as they're in your space, or even if they were away and they call you, you'd be there telling them what to do. So when any member of the family is not well, then we all are affected. And to know something, you know what grandma used to do, then that can be so helpful. What your own experiences have been or will come to be, you hear from others and what they do, then there is something that you can do while you're at home. There are times when individuals may be unwell and will need that medical intervention at a health facility. And so when that need arises, you certainly need to recognize it and to take them where they could get further assistance, because it's very much important for individuals to have their health restored as soon as possible. So we just want to our topic of discussion this evening, immune health and fighting viral infections with natural remedies. And, we are in a state and time where everywhere you're seeing someone or even yourself experiencing the common flu. But is it really common? Because you know that you will try to deal with the situation, and the things that you used to do doesn't seem to be working. And as though you have to put in more effort to overcome, or if it is that, whatever you're taking in supplements, more vitamin C, more of vitamin A, E, D, all of those antioxidant vitamins and so forth. And things just don't seem to be hitting it anymore. But I'll tell you, don't lose hope. You can still get to it. You just have to do a lot more correctly, more than what you were accustomed doing to have that kind of intervention. So it's not just about what you take, but also what you do topically. And then you would be able to break that pain, break that fever, break that cold and flu. So there are many types of infectious diseases. We have bacteria, virus, fungi, parasites, and we also have sometimes a combination of some of these things. So,
figure it out yourself. Yeah. Website or asking around, that's another resource.
Okay, I'm trying to mute whomever maybe
just so you know
unmuted. Right. Okay, so we have these, but today we are looking a lot more on the viral type of infectious conditions. Now, when you feel a little headache, when you feel the back of your eyes hurt you, when you feel a sore throat or a lump in the throat, or you feel a pain, maybe in your back, or, or you just feel like you see a cough or something, or you begin to sneeze, what is happening? Don't take those signs for granted. Something may be there. And you may think, well, maybe it's the juice I drank that irritated my throat. But no, maybe the juice you drank was prepared by someone who had the flu and it's contaminated. So we need to always be on our guard and always be suspicious that maybe something is going on. And you don't have to take a pill. You just need to do some little natural remedy to help the situation. So when you get these symptoms, the goal is to hit it hard, fast, and frequent, regularly. Sometimes I'd make recommendations to individuals to do certain things for their cold or flu, and they will hit it once in the morning and then wait till late in the evening. The body isn't getting sufficient exposure to the remedies and the ingredients in order to overcome the situation. So you want to hit it hard, fast, and frequent. Now, I want to just throw back minds a little bit on looking at some immune builders, or what could we learn from the 1918 Spanish flu. And why go there? It's because it was one of the biggest flus in our history. And there were some individuals who were able to survive when lots and thousands of people died. And what they did do, and then we had our own experience recently with COVID, and the 1918 flu informed us as to what we could possibly do for COVID, and those we put into practice. But I'd say since COVID, that has just left us into a COVID era, because everything seems to be so heightened. Your common cold and flu is increased, it's amplified. And therefore, our efforts need to be ramped up, paying attention always to those things that can help us to stay well. So in the 1918 flu, there was a sanitarium, or like a health center, where Dr. Harvey Kellogg and some other doctors worked along, and their staff worked along with individuals who got symptoms. But a lot of them survived. Very, very few didn't make it. And in fact, nearby, there was a seminary. And so those individuals there in the seminary adopted principles that they learned from Dr. Kellogg, implemented it immediately. And that's a key factor. Implement these things immediately so that you catch the virus in its early phase. And then you found that those individuals in the seminary, about over 90 of them, they survived. None of them died. And they were living in a community where thousands of individuals died. So as they continue to apply these remedies, let us take note and literally follow through. So that's just about 7 points. Number one, they acted quickly, and that's so important. Here's what they did back in 1918. As soon as they felt something, they went to bed. They went to sleep. Now, my son, he Whenever he feels he has a virus or anything and it's serious, he goes to sleep and he stays in bed and doesn't move until it's over. When he moves, it's because it's over. But that's the best thing to do. And a lot of us, we tend to want to go out to work, want to be taking care of all of our duties and not taking that time out to rest. Taking the time out to rest is important. If you don't, you can become severely sick and it's harder for you to fight. So go lay down. And the second point is that you stay in bed. So those persons at the seminary in Minnesota campus, they had 100% survival rate and none of them got very sick. So from the time they got their early symptoms, they went to bed, lay down. Of course, they got fresh air. They got some sunlight on them because their windows were open and so forth. Their diet was changed. And that's important. We need to change our diet. Now, they stayed in bed for 2 to 5 days after, and even after the fever left. So they got fever for their symptoms, go lay down and stay there 2 to 5 days, and after the fever is gone. So even after you begin to feel better, you still show caution, and therefore you would find the recovery will be better, more complete recovery. Now, when individuals rest, you tend to increase your immune system. Okay, let me see, where's my mute? Could somebody mute, please? Thank you. Yeah, so when you rest, you increase your ability to fight off infectious situations around you. And you'll find that your T lymphocytes, your natural killer cells increase, and your body is more robust to fight off. So you're resting, so you're not using up your energy and resources to do other activities, but you're resting, and that helps. Now you see an increase in adequate sleep even before you get your infectious condition. You make sure that you have adequate rest, and your natural killer cells, all those cells that will fight for you, part of your immune system, will be ready. It will be increased. Individuals who got partial sleep in the red, they had lower fighting mechanisms. Number 3, they used water, hydrotherapy. And they used different hot compresses. I'm going to show you what that looked like. And they that were applied to the throats as well as the chest of the patients. And today you can use hot showers, hot and cold contrast showers. You can use baths, like go into a bathtub and soak is one of the things that you can do for a fever. If you have a fire, a bushfire, some of those folks who live in the countryside know that you could set a fire that would come this way, and the fire in the bush is coming this way. It would meet and it will just quench. So with a fever, you can add some heat. It's what I call a fever bath, where you can soak into a bathtub of hot water. Of course, you check the temperature in your mouth. Don't let it go up above 103, 104. But then that heat is just going to help to quell that fever. And saunas and heating pads, these are great ways of heating up the body. For me, with a fever, I like to sweat it out. And by the time you perspire, it's gone. So it tends to kill bacteria, and the water therapies, it activates viruses, especially when you do the hot and the cold following. So I'll show you that. And moist heat is always better than dried heat. These are some of the different things. You would see that shortly. Putting cold rag on your head can help you too. They got lots of fresh air. And so if you put the person, so you're resting, you go to bed, yes, but open up your windows, or you may just go and recline in a chair and get that fresh breeze on you. And that's very therapeutic and calming and relaxing and de-stressing to help to improve your immune system. So if you can go outdoors, and especially if you were to go to the seaside, that is like a miracle dosage of recovery that you're going to give yourself. If you go to the beach and you got that fresh air, you got sunlight, you have water, and you can just go and soak in that water, that is going to help recover you, knock out the virus. I remember our family when we got COVID, we had it like from one Saturday and all the way through, at least for me. And one of the things that I did not do was to stop working. So I felt great. I got lots of sunlight on the very first day. My husband and myself, we went outside and we stayed in that sun and stayed in the sun for hours. And it just was solar energy, solar power. We got so much energy that I did not feel sick. And with that, I did not rest. So I continued working from home. And it was about a Tuesday. I started to feel a little bit weird. And I said, I have not been resting. I'm going to switch off and I'm going to rest. And I need to pay attention now to even take all the drinks that I needed to. And with that, I was able to recover. But the Friday, we went to the beach and I just soaked in the water for about 20 minutes. And that was the end of everything. It was like a turn off switch for even COVID. And we came back home and all the sickness was washed away in the ocean. None of it came back with us. And so this is something that you can do. Sometimes you have all that nasal congestion, just to dunk your head in that salt water and bring it back up. Everything would just be flowing out. Run out on the seashore and blow it out. And then you'd be fine. So make sure, if it's possible, get your outdoors. Even in your home, open the window and you'll be good. Now, sunlight is huge. Sunlight kills viruses, it fights off infections, and it helps to boost your immune system. Sunbathing can be so helpful, therapeutic, and aid in recovery. And so if you have your windows and you put the bed close to the window so the sunlight can get onto the sick person, or help the person to go outdoors and just sit in the sunlight, and that would feel so good, especially if the person feels a bit chilly. That sun is going to just warm up the body and help to fight off that infection. So yes, if your respiratory area is exposed to that sunlight, it can help to fight off those infectious agents. Vitamin D will be made in your body, and that is also an item that can build your immune system, improving your natural killer cells and aid in recovery. So when you see sickness around, you go out in the sun as a preventative. Take your children out in the sun. Do some activity out in the sunlight, and you will be good. In this picture here, it was my nephew and myself in the midst of COVID. And we're cool, we're outdoors, and because it's breezy. And then we're spending time in the sun to make our vitamin D and to keep ourselves good. So our vitamin D here is a statement by Dr. Michael Hollick, and he is a research physician. And he looked extensively, did extensive research on vitamin D, and he had this to say, that vitamin D is superior and far more important to the human body than vitamin C. We need vitamin C, but vitamin D can even go above that. So don't lose out on it. Another point from 1918 is that they ate a simple diet. And that's what happens when you're not well, you need to change the diet. Go on a total plant food. Yes, if you make a nice broth, it's not the fish broth, but the plant food. your broccoli broth then you can do. You know that it has been shown that individuals who subsist on flesh meat, and even in the midst of an infection, that they don't do as well as those who went on a total plant diet. And that happened back in 1918. So those who were on that in the sanitarium as well as in the seminary, you found in the campus, you found that they had a simple diet and they had no fatalities. The meals were light and they helped to build that immune system and to fight the flu. And this we can do before, during, and certainly after to keep our bodies in good health. And point number 7, they drank a lot of water. And this we are encouraged to do, to drink water. And if you drank a lot of water in peacetime, it would not be difficult for you to drink water in these troublesome times. So we get into the habit to drink water. And even when you're not well, drinking water can be tremendous in helping with your recovery. Okay, just want to remind everyone to mute your microphones, please. Thank you. Okay. Okay, good. So here we want to drink water. Drinking lots of water tends to help the blood to circulate and to move and to take nutrients around, to even break that fever and toxins and so forth that would be released by the kidneys and through your skin. The more water you drink, the more you would be able to perspire, and therefore drinking the waters can help. And okay, so here are some common conditions and natural remedies. We're going to go into some, but I want to let you know that there are lots more of items that individuals can do, but we'll just look at a few. So what if tomorrow you felt your throat sore? What will you do? And here is what I call a sore throat wrap. And I'll just bring this. Okay, so let me just stop share screen a little bit and I'll explain how we can do this. All right, good. So here I have a rag, and it's all a full proper rag, you know, big. And so I'm gonna just fold it in 3, which would be about the width of my neck. All right, so here we can do this. I would just take this now and get some basin with water and put some ice cubes in there so it's very icy cold. Now, if you are living in the northern countries where it's winter, you'll have absolutely no problem in opening your taps and get an ice cold water. Okay, so you can just wet the rag and you will wring out all of the water. You don't want any water in this. You wring it out, and it's cold, okay, cold. You have a sore throat. Okay, so here's what you do. You take this. It's cold. Now you wring the water out, and then you're going to put it against your neck like this. And then you can take a bandana, and you can tie it on, okay? So you can take a bandana and tie it on. And I don't have a bandana, but anything you have that you can tie on. Let's take anything. It could be a socks. All right, I have the socks here for some other reason. Okay, so you have that. But then I have something like this. This is a flannelette, or you can take a scarf and you can just wrap it. I just want to show you a length, something a little long. And why you want something warm, like a scarf or woolen scarf or so. And you're going to wrap this and wrap it and hold it a little snug in place, okay? And then you just tuck this in here and it's gonna, nice. So that cold rag against your throat, it's going to, your body is going to sense it and start to send a lot of blood in that area to get that area warm. but it's also with that blood that's coming, going to remove inflammation, and your sore throat is going to go away. So you may think it's funny that you're going to put cold. Cold water has tremendous benefits. So cold water, yes, and you put that cold onto that area, and the inflammation going to go away. The blood is going to bring nutrients, and you're going to be fine. And if you are not fearful, you can sleep with this overnight. If it's in the evening, you can sleep with it. If it's in the daytime, you can simply wrap yourself. The other day, I got a bit of a sore throat, and it was morning, and I did this for about 2 hours, and it cleared, it went away. All right, so you can do this, and it'll be fine. If you have a scarf, like I do here, you just got it on a long side, and you can put this, and you wrap and you go your way. Individuals who live in cold countries, or if you work in a place where you have a lot of air condition, always have a scarf with you to wrap your neck and keep your neck warm. All right, here is your throat. You don't want that when you breathe, inhale cold air, it will go down into your chest cavity, but you also want to keep your neck warm. When you do that, it's going to help to brace yourself, and you feel good. All you got to do is just be fashionable. Okay, the men can do this too. And even if you did that neck wrap and you can go to work with it, like I've done, and you wear a turtleneck top, or you just simply take a scarf and do that. Nobody's going to know that you're taking care of your health. So those are some of the nice, easy points that you can do for your sore throat. All right, let's see what next week we can do. Okay. All right, my system seems to be moving a bit slow. All right, so the next, what we have here is oregano oil. Okay, so let's just see. Oregano oil tends to be an item that we've used during the COVID time, and we even use it now in the midst of when we are, when we feel any infectious agents coming on, any infectious situation coming on. That oregano oil is something that every home should have. If you can't tolerate the oils, you can do the capsules. And yes, you can have oregano capsule that would work for you nicely. However, what we discovered is with your throat area, sometimes, getting the oil to pass by there tends to help. But when early days of COVID, we used the oregano oil, and this is a food grade therapeutic type of oregano oil, and it would work quite easily, but in today's world, it's not working that well, that quickly. So you have to use more interventions, or just do many different things that I'd show you. And so what we did is to take oregano oil. You can put it, it must be diluted. That's super important. And you can put it in some juice or oil, as I'd show you. So this is like a nectar juice, and for just about 4 ounces, and you'd put the drops here, maybe 20 drops for younger ones. I'll do like about 8 drops, depending on the age. My nephew, he's 11, but at the time when he was about 9, I'll give him 9 drops, and he'd be okay. He'd call it the peppery, but it don't always work and help. So we put the drops of oregano oil in here, you stir it around, and you use a straw, and you drink it up quite quickly. And you can drink some plain water behind it. If it's cold, it tends to mask that burning sensation that you will get when you use oregano oil. Oregano oil is very hot. This is how I do it in the oil. This would be olive oil, a tablespoon, and then I put the drops of the oregano in here, shake it around a little bit, put that into your mouth quickly. Don't let it touch your lips, and drink like a glass of hot water. You get a hot water behind And that heat from the hot water will just mask the heat from the oregano oil, and that would work. If you're not one that you want to do the oils, you can use the capsules as well. And 1 or 2 capsules of oregano oil in the morning and in the nighttime at bedtime. And that is going to help you. It's filled with antimicrobials, antiviral, anti-inflammatory. It's excellent. Another option that could be used here will be golden seal. And you may be familiar with golden seal with echinacea. Any of those two will work. And you can take morning, like 1 capsule in the morning, 1 capsule in the evening. If you cannot tolerate the capsule, simply open the golden seal, put it on a spoon. You can add a little honey, mix with it, and ingest it. Drink some water. It's quite bitter, but it works. It helps. And so just be regular morning and evening for the oregano oil, morning and evening for the golden seal, and that can help you. Or in the midst of the day, as you start to address your situation, your symptoms, then that can work. What about if you have a headache? Okay, so if you had a headache, this is what you can do. You can literally apply a cold compress. So the same thing that I did for my neck, you can put it now on your head. All right, so you put this ice cold rag on your head, and rather than just leaving it there, you can wrap something warm. You can take a bandana. You can take something about this, and you wrap it right around and keep it on there for quite a while until your head pain eases. Some people maybe with short hair may be able to wet the entire head and then do the wrap. That can work well. But what you're putting is an ice cold rag on the head. Another thing that you can do is a hot foot bath. And there you can place your feet into some hot water, not scalding hot, but it's hot as much as the individual can tolerate. And so you'll be adding gently some hot water into that room temperature water until it's comfortable. Now, diabetics cannot do this. It's not advisable because they many times lose their sense of feeling in their feet and they don't know when, and it may be too hot and they don't know. So if one is a diabetic, don't do this. But a hot foot bath is what I call a foot soak, and you run it for about 20 minutes, trying to maintain that hot temperature in the water, and the individual, that head pain can go away. It draws the blood away from the head, that congested blood away from the head, and eases it up. Another wonderful thing I like is frankincense oil. And frankincense, it's rare, it's a little bit more pricey, but it's really helpful to have. And so you put that, you can put it straight. That's one oil that you can put directly. Or if you mixed it with a little oil, but make sure the frankincense is good amount in there. And you just rub around the line of your hairline. And that helps around your hairline, all the way around to the back of you, around by your ear. And that works phenomenally. Frankincense tends to get in through your pores and address the head in a really remarkable way. Even individuals with brain tumors tend to use frankincense oil to help with that tumor, to break it down. It helps with brain drainage. So sometimes you feel congested in your head, even just by overwork or a lot of brain work after an exam maybe. And if you rub your head with that frankincense oil and you go to sleep, it eases up the next morning. You are super fine. Another thing you can do for a headache is to drink water. 1 glass of water every 10 minutes for 1 hour only. And that can help to relieve the headache. A lot of times folks may have a headache because they're dehydrated. All right, so that helps. And then activated charcoal is another great thing for a head pain. So if you have your activated charcoal, you take 1 teaspoon, you mix it in some water, and you drink that. You can have the activated charcoal capsules. You open the capsule, let the content go into the water, stir it around, and you drink it. Drink it with a straw, drink everything. And just 1 glass of water or 6 ounces, and that'll be fine. And that can help to ease your headache. Sometimes headaches may be caused by something you ingested that did not agree with you. And so that charcoal can help. Charcoal can also help to break a virus, break a flu, and ease up on that pain. So this is a picture of the hot foot bath. You have your basin with the water. It's nice and warm, getting hot. You see the person here adding some more hot and shaking the water with her other hand to make sure it is comfortable. And this tends to also increase and boost your immune system, relieving the headache and quite relaxing and so on. Okay, so you do it for about 20 minutes and always keep the head cool. When you have the feet in that hot water, you take a rag and you just put it, cold rag, put it on the forehead. What do you do for chills and fevers? All right, so now all these situations that I am sharing with you, what if someone had a sore throat and they had a headache? You try and apply multiple of these recommendations to them. Don't just do one thing, because in doing the multiple, you get the recovery quicker. All right, so you can have the throat wrap. So for example, the other day, my daughter, okay, could you mute? Thank you. Okay, so the other day, my daughter came home and she said, my ear is hurting me. So when I looked at her face, it was swollen on the right side. So I said to her, you have an ear infection. It's very likely you have an ear infection. So I said, okay, let me just rub it with something that I had. And I rubbed it and I gave her tea to drink from Oregon grape, which is another herb. If you don't have golden seal, you can use Oregon grape. So I gave her that and she went to sleep. She was okay. The next morning, I gave her some more and she went to work, but she came home in the evening and it was paining on both ears now inside, just this pain, and the right side of her face was still swollen. So she said, it's paining me still. I said, okay, I can see it swelling. I said, go shower and come back. And she came back. And what I did, multiple things for her. So we got her, I have a salve made from Anica, ANICE, and that's anytime you see that, try and get it, ANICE, Anica. It's good for pain. And sometimes individuals have the Anica gel, they can rub their joints with it. But this was a salve that I had. And so I added some frankincense oil to that salve. And 1 drop of oregano oil because it's very hot. And so we massaged all around the neck, down to the sides of the shoulder, all around the neck here, up behind the ear, and around the hairline. So all this area was, not on the face, but just around the neck underneath. And give a nice rub. And then I did the neck compress. Yeah. The neck compress, as great as it is for sore throat, if you have a stiff neck, you can do the same thing and it's going to help. If you have your leg, your muscles paining you, you can do the same wrap. In fact, one day I was sitting and just cropping and my hand here was aching me. Was a time I put my feet in hot water and had the cold rag, but I was holding like this, wasn't feeling well, and my hand started to ache right about the carpal tunnel area. And I took the cold rag and simply just wrapped it around like this and held it there for about 10 minutes. And when I did that, it was gone. Okay, so cold again. So yeah, for my daughter now, so I did the wrap, got her all this done, wrapped around, and then I gave her the tea again with Oregon grape, and she went to sleep. And the next morning, that was it. ear infection completely gone, swelling completely gone, no issues of any viral issues. It was completely gone and it did not come back. So just letting you know. One more thing. What we did was to take a tissue paper. This is toilet paper, and stick it in her ear. No, before we did that, we put it, rub some Vicks. So you have Vicks. Yeah, rub a little Vicks, not too much. And then we stick it in the air like this. And yeah, and then she went asleep. So those were so many things just done at one time because the next morning she had to go to church to sing. So it was all so many attempts to get her better. All right, so fever, what if you had the chill and the fever? As I mentioned before, you want to add heat, so you do an artificial fever. And here you will be able to work with children and adults. I did this on my daughter when she was very young too, with fever, just putting into a tub with hot water, and then you can get the individual to break that fever. And but with an adult then too, you can also fill your bathtub if you do have one, and that would help to break the fever. Okay, nice. So you want to be able to remain in that hot tub for about 10 to 15 minutes, not longer. And the younger the person is, or the more elderly, you reduce that to really about 10 minutes, because elderly, feeble people cannot tolerate this heat, as well as young children cannot. So the duration for them is less. When they come out of that fever bath, help them, because the heat would have been drawn to the skin, away from the organs, and they may feel a bit shaky, weak. So you help them to come out of the bath and to rub dry the skin nicely, and just put on something light and cool and go lay down for the next 30 minutes to an hour to rest. So resting after this fever bath is part of the recovery. All right, what about cold and hot and cold contrast showers? So this you may know, and even as part of building our immune system, you can do this. You can literally go into the shower, enjoy your heat, your warm, nice shower. It's cozy, it's warm, you enjoy it. But then after about 5 minutes or so, you can begin this procedure where you turn the faucet on to cold. So you gradually turn it to the cold side soon enough, and you stay there for cold. And you do a cycle now of 3 minutes hot, 30 seconds cold, and you repeat that 3 times. 3 minutes hot, 30 seconds cold. When you're in the cold, don't just stand there cold. No, you want to scream. So you could scream, but shake up yourself, rub up your body, turn around, and then it would not feel so cold to you. Okay, so you can do this when you have no issues in peacetime. It's a great way to build your immune system, and also to make you more tolerable to the cold in your outdoors, your environment, in your air conditioning system, or in your winter area. But then if you want to break a fever, you feel the chills coming on, you can go into this hot and cold contrast, and it would help. Of course, rest afterward. It will also encourage, when you have a fever, here are some pointers. Encourage perspiration, which is what I did the other day. I felt my head was hurting. I picked up a flu, a virus on an airplane. When you're cooped up in an airplane for 8 hours, I really thought, oh my, a lot of folks in here, and they're all talking. So by the end of that trip, I had a headache, and I knew I wasn't doing great, but I did not know what was happening. And I said, I felt a little bit chilly. So I said, let me sweat this out. And I covered with my sheet, my blanket, my quilt, and I slept. And of course, I perspired, and you change your clothing and you'd be fine. So encourage perspiration, and that can help with your recovery. Clear your bowels. If you could take a purge at the start, that is helpful. And they did that in the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic by keeping the bowels clear, drinking lots of water, and a hot foot bath. If in a fever, you can also apply this. Citrus tends to be very helpful in breaking fevers, vitamin C. And you also have what I love to do, a nice fever rub. You get some coconut oil, not too much, put it in a saucer, a little container, and you squeeze a lime, a lemon in there, a lime or a lemon, vitamin C, you squeeze the juice in there. And even if you have lime or lemon in a bottle from the supermarket, it still works. All right, and you put the juice in there and you stir it around. Oil and water wouldn't mix, so oil and juice don't either, but you try to mix it around. And then you just scoop up some in your hand and you rub the skin. You rub from head, neck, back, belly, your arms, your legs, under your feet, from head to toe. You rub. Big people, little people, children, babies. You do this and it's going to break that fever. You cover them up, let them rest, and it's going to break the fever. Okay, when nothing else works, this can. What about body pain? So coming out of my fever states and so forth, which was just a couple of days earlier this month. And my back was aching like a breaking back. And I was like, wow, this is so painful. I was like, oh, ow. And so I got this. I'll show you. It's I got an ice pack. Yeah, so I got an ice pack, and these are always great to have. These gel packs you might see, buy them, get them, keep them in the in your refrigerator. And so I got this ice pack, and this is after having pain for about 2 to 3 days, but it intensified. And this time I was like, no, this gotta go. And even though I rubbed stuff, it didn't go until I used the ice, the cold ice. So I took this ice pack and I put it on one side of my back and I lay down on it for about 10 minutes. Then I put it on the other side of my back and I lay down there for about 10 minutes. And then I put it across my lower waist because they ache too, and I lay there for another 10 minutes. And then I got up and I walked away and there was no pain. Okay, so the cold helps. And so there was no more pain and all the pain went away. So the cold would work. The other day, my daughter had a pain in her elbow, and I said, okay, let's do this. Let me see. I said, let's do this. So I have a nice little device here. It's like a rub, like it's not that, it's an ice. So it's an ice rub. I got this on Amazon. So if you want to get something fancy, but you don't need to, if you have like a styrofoam cup, styrofoam cup, and you can fill your cup, and then you just start tearing away at one end of your cup, and you can hold the other cold end with a rag, and you can do the same thing. So she had this elbow pain but it came all the way from the shoulder. So I started to work on that, and this you can do for pains as well. And so I just like rubbed repeatedly for about 5 minutes until she said, yeah, it feels a bit numb, which is what you want to do. So even sometimes you have like a shoulder pain right here, you can do this and it works really nicely. And so you rub until the area is numb, and then you are able to move. So after I rubbed the area, she was able to move the arm, raise it up and move it around, and the pain was reduced. And I did it a second time and she was able to move around. And then I said, okay, it was going to be bedtime. So I took a rag, put it on here, and then I took the same ice pack and which is really this for the ankle, it has a strap. And then I was able to strap it down, hold it down, and she went off to sleep with that. So I didn't put that time the ice directly on the skin, but I just cushioned it with a rag. And she was able to sleep with that. And the next morning it was gone. So ice and cold, you can use them therapeutically. Another item I have for pain.
Ano bang meeting ito?
Okay, mute. Thank you. Okay, another item I have for pain is a hot water bottle. And so this you can get in certain pharmacies or in health shops. And so you fill it with hot water. And you can fill this with top temperature water and put it in the freezer too to have a big ice pack. All right, but you can fill this in hot water and be very careful. You turn the cover, screw it on tight, turn it over, nothing is dripping, and it's hot. And you can put this on different parts of your body for pain, so that your shoulder pain and you can do the hot. But test yourself and see if the hot works for you. If not, and it's the cold, then the colds always tend to work for any muscular pains. All right, good. So I see our time is up. I haven't been looking in the chat box, but if you do have any questions, please write it in the chat or raise your hands right now or anytime, and we will be able to take your questions. All right, I just will therefore take us to one more area, something really nice I want to show you and share with you, and then we'd wrap up. Okay, so let me see if I can look for this. The other day, a gentleman called me and he said that he was making this item called the flu bum, and he just wanted to make sure that it worked well. Okay, so the flu bum, it's what we call the super flu bum. And here are the ingredients for it. It's made from turmeric, ginger, garlic, onions, lemon, cayenne pepper, honey, and water. Now, all of these ingredients in here are very therapeutic when it comes to viruses, bacteria, fungus, infection in any form. So they all play a great role in restoring. If you don't even have all of these items, you even have one or two of them, still do it. Make the item, make a blend and drink. It's going to be helpful. Ginger tea can work, but when in combination, these items work super great. So if you have turmeric, what do you have in your home? You have turmeric, you have ginger, you have garlic. Oh, everybody should have garlic. Onions for your lungs, your respiration, and so forth. You can make this. Lemon. Lemon is so good for the head. The other day, I felt a bit congested in my head. And in the midst of the day, I just made some lemon water. And I added a little honey for taste. And I just drank a glass of that. And I started to feel like a mucus moved from my head. I said, what do I have? I had something in my head. It felt congested. So lemons are phenomenal for your head. Cayenne, last night I felt, my choice, God sometimes just gives his messengers things to be able to come back and tell you. So last night I felt my glands here, like my salivary glands, just like paining, just pain. And I was like, what's that? And it just stayed there. And it wasn't a dull pain. It was just like a point needle pain. And I was like, wow, when you salivate for something and you just feel that pain. Yeah, felt like that. I got up this morning with it and I said, what what is this going on? You know what I did? I got a glass of water, just plain water, and just about 2 ounces or so, and I put like a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now, I don't like pepper, but I was doing this for purpose. I'm like, I don't have no idea what's going on here, but cayenne, when you ingest it, anything up in the head, it tends to help. So I stirred around the cayenne pepper and I used a straw and I drank, just keep drinking. Ah, hot, 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 hot. You walk around, you stamp your feet, you know, and so far the pain has gone and I don't know what it was, but I'm okay. So the cayenne, if you want to do the super flu balm and not even, and you don't want to do the cayenne, it's okay. You can leave it off because I did that in my time of using it for COVID and I was okay. It's the rest of the items still work. And so the ingredients here, it will come quite thick. You will have to blend it. And then you just take like about 12 tablespoons every 30 minutes. It has honey in it. So it have a sweet, sour taste. Individuals who are diabetic cannot use the honey. They got to use it straight. It's blended in with some hot water. Some people tend to sort of steam these items for about 5 minutes, the turmeric, ginger, garlic, onion. You can steam those for about 5 minutes, and then you add your lemon, your cayenne, your honey, your water, and you're still good to go. You make it like a tea now. But even if you steam the item just for 5 minutes and then you blend it, that garlic is not going to be as strong, but not very long. You don't want to have long heat on the garlic. You still want to get the properties in these things. So you take spoonfuls of it. In acute situations, in the beginning, you do every 30 minutes. And as you begin, if you did this in the first day of feeling your symptoms, I guarantee you, by God's grace, the next day, you don't have to do it as regularly because you're going to feel so better. All right, so the next day you can, not 30, you can do like every hour or hour and a half, and you'd be fine. This is what it looks like when you chop up everything, getting ready to make your super flu balm. The lemon on the side, you strain it. No need to add the seeds in there. You put it in the blender, and it's going to blend everything nice. And you see you get a full, nice blender of this mixture. You next will want to take your spoonfuls out and consume it. And you just spoonful, you take it in, you ingest it. Okay, you can also portion size them out. And when you do this, you would be able to have it there to just take it as a dose shot, especially if your entire family is not well. Here's a recipe. If you don't have turmeric root, you can do 3 tablespoons of the powder instead of the 3 inches of the root. You can do the powder, you can do the ginger powder, you can make these. And sometimes folks may find this is easier when they have to travel, they have their powder, and they can just take a scoop out, add it to some hot water, mix it, and you have a tea. You can take this to the office and make your tea and drink it. And what I like to do and my sisters like to do was to add some juice to it. So there you can add orange juice, pure, fresh, nice orange juice to your flu balm mix. Or what I did, I added some more lemon and more water and was a bit dilute, but it tastes good, and put some more honey, and I was able to drink it like a juice. And I found it was easier to take it down that way. I just use a straw and sip all of it because you still want to get the potency of the contents. And I drank all of it, and it was quite helpful. So those are variations of how you can make a super flu balm. All right, so with that, our time is up, and we will finish. I just really always like to tell folks about the onion under the feet. It's even great for babies. And so the other day, my 9-month-old baby nephew had some viral situation, coughing and so forth. And we were able to do this really well with him. Take the onions, you slice them up in rings, and for the baby, it will just be a few. All right, but adults can do this. Pregnant women can also do it when they are not able to tolerate lots of the other things. And so you put it into the napkin. You see, you fold the napkin, and then in the core of your feet, you put it right there. You don't put the onion directly, but it's cushioned in the napkin nicely. And then you get one of these bands and wrap it. You wrap the foot. You wrap it a foot. And you tuck it in there. And here is why I had my socks. So then you take your socks and you put it on the foot. And you say good night and you go to sleep. And in the morning, you're gonna feel better. This will run through your blood while you're resting, while you're sleeping, and help to clear away that virus and make you feel so great, so well. All right, so thank you for listening. Any questions that you want to raise, now is the time. If you want clarity, want things to repeat, and we'll certainly take your questions. I'll just go ahead to drop the ingredients for the super flu balm in the chat for you so that you're able to grab it up. Okay. And when we post the recording on the YouTube, we'll put this in the description as well, so that you're able to get it and access it. All right, so if someone has a mic unmuted, you want to ask a question? Okay, I think I see something in the chat here. Oh, okay. Let's see. I've used the raw sliced onions on myself and child as an elementary school student and adult without any problems, and it works wonderfully. Okay, great. To God be the glory. Thank you very much, Sister Williams, for sharing your testimony and encouraging others. Maybe babies need a cheesecloth or paper towels. Yeah, if you paper towel, but it's a napkin, you know what, you go to the table, you use a napkin. You don't want too much of it to be on the skin directly, and especially babies, their skin would be very tender. So the napkin tends to work well. Yeah, paper towel can work well too. Okay, how do you assist an individual who mostly feel of hotness? Oh yeah, that's a circulatory problem that's going on there, where they feel that foot really hot. So you've got to work on their vascular health and work on improving their circulation. Garlic as a tea can be quite helpful to improve circulation. All right, nice. So garlic tea, and anything that can improve the blood vessels. And you can talk to me on the side and I can tell you some other things, supplements. I don't want to say stuff openly that, okay, there are things like butcher's broom, but again, you got to watch around the cautions and safety issues with that, whether they can tolerate it.
Okay,
All right, so yes,
yes, the importance of hydration when doing the foot bath, because I had an incident once doing a foot bath where, although I was asking the guy to be hydrated, he didn't want to, and then he fainted. You know, and that could be a real sight in front of an individual who doesn't have, you know, the expertise on what to do. So I think the importance of hydration is critical while foot bath is taken, the hot foot bath.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. And so folks, make sure, yes, you have a glass, and sometimes you may just put a straw to it because they may not be able to, you know, do so many things at one time. And then rather than you try to hold the glass to their mouth, put a straw in that glass and they would be able to drink. And that we also, sometimes you take a sheet and you wrap it around them. When they're doing the hot foot bath, you wrap it around them. And that can help the blood to go down gradually, because if the blood goes down too quickly, then you can get the lightheaded conditions, especially if they have heart issues and so forth. You want to do that. So thank you so much. Okay, any other contributions? Do you need to add black pepper and pepper into the flu bomb to make it more absorbable? Not necessarily. No, you don't have to. It's good as it is. It's gonna use for respiratory issues. I mean, even just drinking the turmeric. I think it was on yesterday morning. I just like mix some turmeric and water. You can mix people do turmeric in with milk. You know, so if you have a tough problem consuming it, and that would be a plant-based milk like almond milk. You can warm it and you can add the milk and you can drink it down. As it is, it still helps for this purpose. Okay. And as you drink it like that, it would work well. So yesterday I just drank some turmeric and I felt something in my nostrils, blah, blah, blah. What's that? You know, some mucus came out. And I was like, wow, turmeric. So it works on its own. When you're looking for greater absorption, we would therefore boil it for a longer time. Adding ginger as a catalyst tends to take that turmeric around the body. So black pepper is not the only item that individuals would use. Okay, any other contributions, questions?
Say right now, you know who you are.
Okay. All right, so I guess that's it from everyone. Thank you. I want to invite our members from the Upper Tobago. If you have any announcements at this time, you can do so.